So hi everyone, I'm Cheesable and let's talk about Swordmaster. Okay, so Swordmaster in Dune Imperium, right, is this third agent that you get. You normally spend 8 or 6 Solari and you get it. And that means you can play 3 agent actions instead of 2. It's one of the most powerful things that you can get with Solari early. And I think a lot of players will wonder like how you should approach it in Uprising. In previous version like the SA base game and Rise of X, Swordmaster is like not essential. It's really good, but it's not essential. But when it came to immortality, like Swordmaster became like really important. Like you had to rush it. Like the whole early game was a mad rush to get Swordmaster. I think there are a multitude of reasons why. Like the on-play effects of like experimentations were good. Like there were just a lot of cards that you generally could buy because of atomics. So Swordmaster like just led you to a lot of wins. But in terms of Uprising, how should you approach Swordmaster? So let's just talk about a few lines to get there. So I'll be talking about I'll be breaking down this video into a few sections. First is about how do you get Swordmaster. Secondly, how should you approach Swordmaster? So first of which, right, Swordmaster is very good. Like the game revolves a lot around the tier 3 combats. Right, tier 3 combats, generally you want to deploy 3 times, and deploying late in the game, right, because of like how many intrigues you have, how many actions you have, leaves you to be very powerful. Especially with how the Mentat is like kind of blocked up as well because of how Imperial Privilege works. Just having more actions allows you a lot of control. That being said, how do you get Solari? Okay, so first of all, Swordmaster is a space on the board where you need 8 or 6 Solari. So first person goes in and 8 Solari, next person gets 6 Solari. So there are a few spots on the board that gives you Solari. First of which is Spice Refinery. Spice Refinery is a city space that you spend 0 spice to get 2 Solari and 1 spice to get 4 Solari. Okay, the other space you can get Solari is Shipping. Shipping is like spend 3 spice to get 5 Solari. Really good. But the issue with this is that you do need 2 influence on the spacing guild. Right, so you need 2 influence on the spacing guild, and then after you need to get shipping. So you still need to get spies, then after that go shipping. It is not the easiest thing in the world. The last thing you can do is get contracts. So contracts like this, Espionage, you can get 3 Solari, and there are a bunch of other contracts that you can look through that kind of give you Solari. So there's the immediate one that gives you 2 Solari. There's a lot of harvesting one that gives you 3 Solari, and there's another research station and another deliver supplies one that gives you Solari. So 3 spaces on board that gives you Solari, right? And this one, most of the time, like, it's not very direct. I can tell you that because of this, right, most of the time, Swordmaster goes through Spice Refinery. Spice Refinery, you need to spend a spice to get 4 Solari, if not you just get 2 Solari. And if that's the case, right, 4 Solari, how much 8 divided by 4 is? 2. You need to hit Spice Refinery twice. And means that you need to get 2 spice before you hit Spice Refinery twice. First, I'll talk about some of the leaders. Some of the leaders get extra like 1 Solari or 2 Solari easily. So leaders like Amber Matuli, leaders like Shtam, Corino, and Staban. Staban, he can spend 1 spice to get 3 Solari. So these are the 3 main leaders, which has a very easy path to Swordmaster. And I think like when they're counting to 8, you should use them as a baseline to count to 8. So let's just choose a bunch of leaders that make sense in this, and then we'll go from there. So let's say 4th position picks Muad'Dib, 3rd position picks like Gurney. Let's say 2nd position picks like I don't know, like Fate. 1st position picks Staban. Okay, so if this is the case, right, the first player is normally like the player who has like one of these like Solari leaders is generally the one who like tends to get Swordmaster first because like he has the extra 1 or 2 Solari to get there. But let's just talk about how he needs to get there. Okay, so let's say if he has this particular hand, let's say he goes to Haga, he spends his water, he puts a spy down, and he gets 3 Solari. Then after that, next action maybe he goes to Refinery, he cashes in. He throws in all 3 troops. Maybe he comes in 1st or 2nd. He gets an intrigue, and then after he gets let's say 1 Solari for coming in 1st, because it's a skirmish that like no one really cares about. So let's say this is his entire line that he plays, right? And then after he gets to Swordmaster round 2. He gets to Swordmaster round 2, and let's just analyze his position after he gets Swordmaster. So let's say round 2, right, he gets Swordmaster, so he gets another agent. He currently has no spies, right? He has no spies, he has no slurry, he has no water, right? He didn't focus on his buy, so his buy was a natural, let's say in this case was a natural 4. Prevents him from buying like Strike Fleet, right? But maybe he lets him buy Truth Trance, which you think is okay. But Strike Fleet is like way better, like 10x better, that kind of thing, compared to Truth Trance. And so he doesn't have the best card to buy. He just buys whatever he can because he doesn't play a line that draws cards, gets Persuasion. And after he gets Swordmaster round 2, his buys are bad because he plays 3 actions and then he buys last because he has Swordmaster. So this happens a lot with Staban, right? Staban rushes Swordmaster, doesn't buy good cards, and eventually just falls behind because he doesn't have faction access. In my previous video I talked about how buying cards is very important. So in some sense, Staban got Swordmaster round 2, but he doesn't buy good cards because he spends 2 full actions to get Swordmaster, right? And he is able to get it round 2. So let's say if the game lasts 7 rounds, right? So he spends 2 full actions to get Swordmaster, and then he gets a +3 actions throughout the game. Okay, so that's what you need to consider. So let's say if he got first in this combat, right, and then someone else got 2 Solari, right? So let's say if Fate got 2 Solari. Let's say Fate got 2 Solari. Oh, I got a tip from a viewer that I can save it to camera 0. Let me just save it to camera 0. Okay, so now someone has Swordmaster already, so now it costs 6 Solari to get Swordmaster. Say round 3 comes around, see the next combat. So between my busy schedule and my dog's random barking, it makes it really hard to record content. But here we are. So let's say Space Raiders, right? You get 2nd place in the combat, you get 1 spice. With that, right? Let's say round 3 comes around. Fate has 2 Solari from the first combat, a spice from the second combat. With that, he goes to Refinery. He spends 1. He collects 6, right? And then after that, he's able to get Swordmaster round 3. So round 3, assuming it goes to 7 rounds, right? So it's round 3, so you have the payback of round 4, 5, 6, 7, you have 4. And then how many actions he spent to get there? He spent 1 action, right? So he spent 1 action, he got back 4 actions, so he gets a +3. So Staban and him actually throughout this game, right? We have the same number of actions, right? And gain by getting Swordmaster, even though one got it round 2, one got it round 3. Because the Solari is cheaper, right, and because he didn't have to waste an action to get spies to get Swordmaster. So in that sense, Staban's advantage of getting Swordmaster is completely mute, right? He gets Swordmaster early, but he loses out on buys. Whereas Fate could have like played different lines where he maybe he has like hooks even. He has hooks, or he has like some other advantage, and then because Swordmaster to both players was an equal benefit, right? Then yeah, there's no additional advantage for blue to get Swordmaster first. Okay, so in this case, what I'm talking about is sometimes getting Swordmaster takes a lot of wasted actions. And I'll talk about the deliver supplies line. I think the deliver supplies line to get to shipping was something that a lot of players were exploring initially. It looks very good, right? So it looks very good because let's say you spend both factions, right? Both early factions. You go up to 3 water. Maybe you collect spice at Deep Desert, right? At Deep Desert you collect it round 3, right? If you collect Deep Desert spice round 3, you get what? 6 spice, right? You get 6 spice. Then after that, you go to shipping. Get up to 5 Solari. 5 is not 6 or 8, alright? So actually you do need like another 3 Solari somewhere for you to get Swordmaster first. But this is already round 4, you know. And why I'm saying it's round 4 is because you needed to do this twice, then after that you needed to come here to collect it round 3, and then after that, because you only had spies now, you can only come here with second action to go shipping round 3. Then after that, round 4, you try to go Swordmaster, and you don't even have this extra 3 Solari. Like, you need this 3 Solari to magically appear. So that's a round 4 Swordmaster, or maybe like, yeah, it's a round 4 Swordmaster, assuming you get extra Solari. So shipping is not great. The only thing else is this, like, there are some contracts which are really good, right? You can kind of get Solari in strike, but at the same point in time, it's not reliable. It's not reliable to get up to 8 in a consistent way, right? There are niche cases where it's good, but you kind of need to watch it. The worst part about spending so many actions for getting Swordmaster is that sometimes some combats can flip as well. Let me try to find. None of these combats are here. Let me see if I can find one of them. There are some of these combats that just give out so much Solari. These 3 in particular, right? So let's say, just look at these. Look at these 3. Look at these 3 combats, right? They give out a bunch of Solari, and because of this, right, especially if someone has a sandworm in, it's very easy for someone to win this combat and totally cut your queue. You spend like 2 actions to try to get Swordmaster, and then eventually you don't get it at all. Most of the time early, right? Let's say if I'm not playing Stepan, getting Swordmaster takes 3 actions, right? It takes 1 action to come to collect spies, 2 actions to go to refinery, and then after that, finally you get Swordmaster. So let's say you take 3 actions to go. It's really a very expensive cost, and if that gives up if you have to give up your resources and gives up your buys, right, it's a really expensive price to pay. So I hope I stressed how expensive Swordmaster is, but at the same point in time, I think Swordmaster is very important. You know, I think Paul Denon in his advice to new players, right, will tell you that don't always get Swordmaster, right? Still always get Swordmaster unless you're super experienced. But his advice to new players is always to get Swordmaster. It just makes the game easier. So a bit of a conundrum, or like a bit of a lot of tension, right? So one, I'm telling you that Swordmaster is really expensive. You know, if you waste a lot of actions, then actually you don't really get an advantage. But at the same point, I'm telling you to get Swordmaster. So you're kind of like waiting for someone else to get Swordmaster, hoping that you're in position to get Swordmaster. So the main kicker to this all, right, is that there's a very clear way for you to like just kind of wait on Swordmaster, right? If you just have a spy there, right, then you can just kind of instead of having your normal cost, right? So your normal cost is 8 Solari. You can always wait for 6 Solari and then get it whenever someone else gets it, right? So you can pay 6 Solari and a spy to get it on your turn. So that's something else you can do. Spies aren't free most of the time, but sometimes spies are free. So there are some combats that just give spies, some leaders that just allows you to put spies. And this can be worth 2 Solari, or in some sense, if you look at 2 Solari can be 1 full action, right? So this can save you 1 full action and generate you that much tempo. So this spy is very important, and I think in the problem what we have about like when should you get Swordmaster and how do you get expensive, this spy is actually really important. So I say a lot of things, and I don't think that at this point in time you have a conclusion on how you should approach Swordmaster. So my tip for you, this is, I think it's a golden rule with regards to Uprising. If you apply this, your win rate to games will go up substantially. You should look at Swordmaster as something that is 1 step away, right? You should play your game normally, right? So let's say the first combat is this one. You might think, oh, I need this Solari for Swordmaster, so I'm going to put in a lot of troops. I don't think that's how you should approach this combat. You should approach this combat in terms of value. Let's say you're playing Gurney, I put in, someone else has 1 troop in, you put in 2 troops in, right? You do get some value out of him. Maybe you get 1 Solari out of him, or maybe you do get the icon, right? Maybe the icon matches, right? And then it is worth it, right? But in early, like, X-Immo, right? If you play the meta will ask you to really fight for all the resources you can early because it dictates when you get Swordmaster. The issue with fighting for such combats, right, is that when you put in so many troops early, what happens is that your combat strength for the rest of the game is very bad because you have no troops. The only way you can get troops is like here, and if you spend your spies already, then you don't really have troops. You kind of have to waste the action to get troops, and then so you can put troops in to win the combat and get more troops. Right. So shoving in all your troops early is really expensive. So you kind of value your early game decisions, and you don't rush for Swordmaster unless you see a very, very clear line or you have specific intrigues that enable it. Okay, so you kind of value everything. So you play for value instead of playing for a quick Swordmaster. And what happens is that you find yourself, right? Let's say if I win this I get maybe third on this combat, I get 2 Solari, right? And then someone else gets, let's say player 2 somehow gets Swordmaster. Boom, now it costs 6. And I somehow have spies. Don't ask me how I have spies, but I do have spies. What I can do, right, is on my turn I just spend 1 action, right? I can go to refinery, get up to 6. And then after that, with my second action, I can get Swordmaster. So you can see all it took, right, is one action, right? When you play 1 action and then you get Swordmaster, and maybe it can happen right round 3 and round 4 and maybe even round 5. Like, so if let's say if it's round 5, right, and you do it, right, and you spend 1 action to do it, you get 2 actions back. You get a net of +1 action, right? But the action that you spent to do it was not very expensive, right? The action that you spend to get the 6 Solari is not as expensive as early on when you do like sacrifice all your resources and all your buys. You kind of can do it very progressively. So all in all, how you should approach Swordmaster? Get Swordmaster when it's 1 step ahead, and the step can be through any of the means that I've talked about. So refinery is the most clear, right? Spies get 4 Solari. It can also be shipping if you happen to have the spacing, friendship, and 3 spies. You know, you can use this to get 5 Solari. I mean, it's just good action, right? Or if you have some contracts that just help you to get to the breakpoint of 6 or 8 Solari, and then like, oh, you know, I can just do this, get Swordmaster in this turn, and then because it's very in tempo and in step, like it's really good. I can tell you this tip is something that will help your gameplay a fair bit. And the reasoning is that when you don't have to worry about Swordmaster, a lot of other options become clearer, right? So let's say if I'm not worrying about Swordmaster, then I'm not really fighting for like refining really. I'm not really like overvaluing some of the early Solari combats and whatever not. But at the same point in time, I'm conscious about getting Swordmaster, right? And I do know like how many steps like Swordmaster is away from me, and I still like look at like who else has Solari, who will get it before me, like lose in this queue. But I don't have to like sell my entire inheritance in order to get Swordmaster. So I hope this video helps. So remember, get a Swordmaster if it's 1 step away. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you around.